You step off the plane at Ezeiza Airport in Buenos Aires, armed with months of textbook Spanish. But the very first time someone speaks to you at the terminal, the rhythm is wrong. The syllables rise and fall in waves that sound distinctly Italian. By the time you find a taxi and the driver asks where you're heading, your classroom preparation feels suddenly inadequate. You realize the Spanish you've practiced is different from the version the city actually speaks. This satellite view shows the Rio de la Plata estuary, the waterway that gives this dialect its name, Rioplatense. In Buenos Aires, locals call it porteño. Navigating this environment requires decoding three specific elements: the melodic intonation, the unique second-person grammar, and a century-old street slang tradition. Classroom Spanish provides a necessary foundation, but relying on it exclusively means missing the local context that makes daily life in the city move. In the 1880s, massive waves of Italian immigrants arrived in Argentina. Within decades, Italian speakers actually outnumbered Spanish speakers in Buenos Aires. This graph compares the steady intonation of Standard Spanish against the melodic shape of porteño speech. That rising and falling quality is a direct phonetic inheritance from those Italian communities. At the same time, the immigrant underworld was developing a code known as Lunfardo. They mixed Italian, French, and African words into a fast argot designed to evade police detection. Over a century, that secretive criminal language leaked into everyday speech until it became the standard vocabulary of the entire city. This table shows how standard terms flip into their Lunfardo equivalents. You don't take the autobús, you take the bondi. You don't go to trabajo, you go to your laburo. Today, those words have lost their criminal associations. Every time a modern resident orders food or complains about traffic, they are using the code of a 19th century immigrant underclass. Then there is the grammar. Buenos Aires replaces the standard second-person singular tu with vos. The conjugation shifts the stress to the final syllable. By dropping the R and adding an S, tener becomes tenés. While sounding modern, vos is an archaic form of global Spanish. Other regions adopted too, but the Rio de la Plata region protected it. The intensity of these rules changes depending on where you are. In the international, expat-heavy cafes of Palermo, the dialect is often polished and easier to follow. But in residential neighborhoods like Belgrano, the Spanish is raw and rapid-fire, dominated by local street slang. Mastering the language means recognizing that a single city operates on multiple linguistic registers based on geographic location. When you trade generic phrases for a local intensifier like recopado, the reception you get from locals changes. It shows you've actually engaged with the city's character. That is why the address che carries so much weight, the ultimate marker of integration. Standardized training provides the grammar, but it often stops short of the hyper-local variations that turn a visitor into a neighbor. We built Street Tongue to bridge that gap. It is a system designed to teach the specific music, speed, and slang of real city dialects. Our AI scenarios simulate high-pressure local environments, moving you away from phrasebooks and into the language as it is actually spoken in a crowded market. Every city has its own linguistic fingerprint. What is a piece of local slang from your hometown that always seems to confuse tourists? Let us know down in the comments.